Well, what's up, everybody? Curtis Wilkerson here with Inside Arkansas and the Pod at the Palace, coming to you for another one of our daily videos. We did our reality check yesterday, right, for the Razorbacks after this loss to Illinois, 5-2 on the year. Have looked really good at times, not so good at times, but what we've seen is against the better competition they've played, they've left a little bit to be desired. Since that video, I've really just kind of narrowed this down, I think, to two specific things that I think at least have to happen for Arkansas to just flip the switch and really get this thing rolling. And I'm still confident they will. But we're going to take one of these on today, and we'll take another one on tomorrow. It's interesting. Like 2 weeks ago, we did a video titled "Arkansas Must Get Johnell Davis Going." So if you're looking at the title for this one, you're probably wondering, is this the exact same thing? No, it's not. That video is still relevant, so maybe go back and listen to it. But that was more about his usage rate, his percentage of shots taken at FAU versus what we've been seeing at Arkansas. We were talking about the injury a little bit, just kind of his career up to this point versus what we're seeing so far at Arkansas. Today, we're going to try to talk about how to fix it, maybe. In fact, 5 different ways that I think Arkansas could do that. Because while I totally understand what John Calipari said about this exact thing after the Illinois game, I didn't necessarily like it, and it was for one specific reason, but I want to play the clip. That way we have context.
They played in a way that they stayed out on him. They played that way. But he had 6 assists because of how they played him. So he played the way the game was being played. There's going to be games where he has 5 and 6 threes because we're flying up and down the court. We're creating rotations, and he's the guy that's open. So last game, okay, and you could say, well, that's against them. This team played to take away threes, and he did a pretty good job of it. We wanted to go middle pick and roll, but they stayed out. And, they were saying, I think the same thing we were saying, you stay on him, stay out there. You can stunt, but
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I would stick to Nelly Davis too if Arkansas was in middle pick and roll, because I would take my chances with, a guy like Boogie Flan finishing in the paint over leaving a 40% shooter. But he's right, about Illinois not helping off of Johnell Davis. Like that's true. But for me, it's almost like Cal's kind of operating under the assumption that Nelly Davis is just a standstill catch and shoot guy, right? Johnell Davis is not Joseph Pinion. He's a bucket, and he can do it in a variety of ways with the ball in his hands. But Arkansas fans, I think, don't really know that yet because it's never there, right? And so, yes, I am very happy with his assists. In fact, I pointed that out on Twitter, on the post game, on the report card. Him having 6 assists was really good. He had a good rapport going with Big Z. Seems like they've got some chemistry going there. And he wasn't forcing the issue. It was, hey, if he got the ball in his hands, defense collapsed, helped over, he was finding the open man. That was good. But there is not a world where Johnell Davis having 3 shot attempts is a recipe for success for this team. There's just not. And he's 4th on the team right now in shot attempts per game. That's got to go up. I'm really bullish on this. I think he needs to be taking double-digit shots a game. That's why you brought him here. So it's puzzling, I guess, to me that we got Cal right now acting like Johnell Davis is a role guy instead of the guy. And I understand he's probably just trying to get him settled in and everything like that. But at some point, you got to start kind of forcing the issue and making it happen if it's not going to happen organically. And we can do the it's still November thing. Well, one, it's really not anymore. But we're between exhibitions and regular season. We're 9 games into this sample size, and we've seen like 1.5 where he's really gotten going. So like you're almost a third of the way through your season. You gotta kind of force the issue. We've also got Johnell, who he's probably internally frustrated to a degree, I would imagine, but he's not really showing it. He's echoing the same things in terms of, hey, just trying to get my teammates involved. My guy, they're plenty involved. It is your turn to eat. That's kind of where I'm going here. So I don't know that we can really do the injury thing anymore. It's not that he's missing a bunch of shots. He's just not taking them or getting opportunities to take them. So that's kind of where I'm coming at from this. And look, you're not gonna bench Johnell Davis. Okay, one, that's silly. Two, You can't. You don't have any other options with this short roster, right? But and to get into the 5 ways I think they can get him going, you can bring him off the bench, right? Or DJ Wagner, but that ain't happening. Like I've heard a lot of people, bring that up. I've said it since the beginning. I mean, if Cal, didn't bring DJ Wagner off the bench and he did Reed Shepard and Rob Dillingham, why the hell would it be any different now, at Arkansas? Now he's got a year of experience under his belt. But that's okay. You could bring Johnell Davis off the bench with his job just being to ignite the second unit and come in firing. Like when you come in, it is your job to give us a scoring punch. That is your role here. That is what you're going to do. He's done this before. He was the sixth man on that Florida Atlantic team that went to the Final Four, and he led them in scoring. We've seen Arkansas's best players do that in the past. It was under Muss, but JD Notae comes to mind, right? There's something to be said for having that kind of firepower coming off. It might also let you get a look at what you're going to get out of Carter Knox early, right? If he's the guy that slides into the lineup, as opposed to bringing him off the bench and then he has kind of one wonky rotation. You don't see him again. Maybe getting him in there early, seeing if he pops right out of the gates, gives you an idea of how much you're going to be able to use him until he settles in. So it could help from that standpoint. Yeah, or you could start going with Trevin and Big Z together, and that would allow you to slide Thero up to the wing and still have plenty of shooting, or TB and Jonas when he gets going. So I think there is something to be said there about potentially looking at bringing your man off the bench. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here in a different segment of these 5 things I think Arkansas could do, but I'm starting to come around to this idea. I wasn't all for it early. I'm usually a big proponent of your best player should be in your starting lineup. But if you're trying to get things going, I think, some people who suggested this, you might be onto something. So I'm going to give you credit where it's due. The second thing, you have to start initiating the offense towards him, or move him to the opposite corner so he can get out of it, because that's been a problem. He's standing there in the corner, not moving, not getting touches, possession after possession, which is really, it's a little bit baffling, but they really have a tendency to start the offense to the right side of the floor, and that just so happens to be towards DJ Wagner. So, and right now, Arkansas, I don't think is far enough along in their offense to where they're getting to their secondary actions. They're getting the ball reversals to where you can get Nelly out of that corner and get him the rock and let him cook consistently. He's going 4 or 5, 6 possessions at a time without even getting a touch. And it's hard to find any kind of rhythm that way. So people are like, where's Nelly Davis? What's going on? Why is he even out there? Well, you can ask that question, but sometimes it's just not his fault. Like he can't do anything with the ball if he's not touching it. And they got to get him out of the damn corner for that to happen. So either, just be a little bit more intentional about running things in his direction, or just have him flip corners every few possessions with DJ. That way you can initiate it towards him and get the ball in his hands. Or, you could also just run some sets to get him, get him to his spots and get some looks there. But I know that they're really just trying to stay within the flow of what they're doing offensively. My third thing here, put him on the ball, right? Put him on the ball a little bit. They've made Johnell Davis's role he's just a floor spacer right now, which is part of what he does, but it's a little bit disrespectful to his overall skill set. They could paint a silhouette of his feet in the corner on the left side of the floor at Bud Walton Arena. And we would never know a difference of whether it was just the painting or him actually being there. Hell, like you could have gone and gotten Kobe Brea if you just wanted somebody to stand in the corner and wait for opportunities to get kick out threes. Let Nelly make some plays. That's what really gets him going, and he's got a track record of doing this. It's not like I'm asking for Arkansas to have Johnell Davis do anything he hasn't done at a high level throughout the course of his career. If there's resistance to this from the staff, I really question why they brought him in the first place, because that's where he really operates so well. So, like I said earlier, I think 2 of these things can go hand in hand. Maybe you script the rotation to facilitate this a little bit, right? If you bring Johnell Davis off the bench, he's your 6th man, why not just have him be the first sub in the backcourt for Boogie, right? The first sub, or that's, the first media timeout, 5 minutes into the game, whatever. You bring Johnell in for Boogie, so your point guard comes out and you put Johnell on the ball for those possessions. Put him on the ball for those possessions, 3-4, see how it goes. And then you bring Boogie back in, sub him in for DJ, so you get both guards a blow early in the game, keeping them fresh, and then you go from there. But I don't think it would be criminal for them to do that, right? And it gives Johnell an opportunity to work with the ball. We've seen that he's a competent facilitator and gets other guys involved. That's what he's trying to do right now. But it can also get him going a little bit, get him cooking. Sometimes it doesn't have to be shot attempts, but just having the ball, making plays, creating a little bit can get you going, get you in the flow, get you in a rhythm. I like the idea of maybe doing something like that. And so you can script it a little bit early on. And that thing, it's going to change, dictated by foul trouble, or you notice right away you got a bad matchup, whatever. But at least having that plan, I think, is a way to get him more involved and get him more touches. Number 4 here, it seems silly. Like how do you get Johnell Davis going? You get Jonas Adu going. Okay. And what I mean by that is post injuries to Jonas Adu, because right now Arkansas doesn't have a threat in there. Okay. I love Trevin. I love Big Z. They're really talented players, really versatile. They do a lot of good things for Arkansas, but posting up on the block and getting a touch and being a threat, it ain't one of them. Okay. For Jonas Adu, it is, okay, because he is a threat to score back to the basket. So you dump it in there to them, all of a sudden, the defense has a choice to make at that point. Do they double down? Do they dig down? Because if at that point we're talking about them not helping off of Nelly Davis in middle pick and roll, well, they're going to have to do that with Jonas Adu, or they're going to have to do that if they're posting Adu up on the block and giving him touches, because he can score on you one-on-one. That allows you then to get spray out opportunities, get the defense in scramble mode, and get better looks for a guy like Nelly Davis out there. And the last thing on my mind is Nelly's mind. Just a personal shift in mindset a little bit, because Arkansas has not done a good job so far of getting him integrated and settled in, but he has some responsibility there too, right? I genuinely think that Johnell Davis is trying to be a good teammate. He's trying to go with the flow, trying to get his teammates involved. He said that he's trying to be a good teammate, but I think what's most good for the team is for Johnell Davis to be scoring 15 a night and being a real threat there, instead of a warm body who gets a touch every 4 or 5 possessions. So there's something to be said. It's not selfish to command the ball if you're a player of Johnell's caliber, right? It's not selfish to do that. And so I think being a little bit more personally aggressive in a serve could be a thing. We've seen some flashes of it. We even did against Illinois. He had a transition pull-up 3, not the best shot in the world, but it rimmed in and out. When I see that, I think, okay, like the shot's on. I mean, the ball went halfway down, it popped out, whatever. But you got to feel kind of good about that look. And then he creates a little bit of havoc defensively. He comes back down, drives baseline. And the Illinois guy did a good job of going vertical. There's a ton of contact there. Didn't get the whistle, but he had 2 aggressive possessions, and then just kind of, it was almost like he packed it in for the rest of the half. I was like, I tried, it's not working. And now I'm just going to stand in the corner. And when I get the ball, I'm just going to pass it away and let somebody else do it. No. Johnell Davis has got to be a killer. Like they said, they want him to be a sniper. That means a couple things. 1, it means being a sniper from 3, and 2, it means you're the guy who goes and takes out the opponent, right? And so just kind of a little bit of a shift in mindset there, more confidence, more assertiveness. And I think that's another way that Arkansas can kind of get him cooking a little bit. They need it, right? I really do believe that having the best version of Johnell Davis is, it's kind of the pathway to having the best version of the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's important. It's why I talk about it all the time. It's why I get frustrated when we're not seeing it. We thought that maybe a corner was turned after that Maryland Eastern Shore game. Hey, it was good to see him get the ball through the bottom of the net, get some points going, get some shots up. But now we need to see it against better competition, and they're going to be facing it the next few games here. You want him going, you want him clicking, you want him firing all cylinders by the time you get into SEC play. So let's see them start kind of forcing the issue a little bit and getting into it. But like I said, there are 2 quick fixes, I think, for Arkansas to flip the switch here and get it going. This is one of them. We're going to talk about the other one tomorrow, so make sure you tune in. Appreciate you guys for tapping in with me as always. Make sure you get subscribed, or you need to get subscribed to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel. Check out InsideArkansas.com. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with the Pod of the Palace, and we'll see you again in the morning. Everybody have a good one.